Welcome to Obsession Engineering. I am back at the seaside because we're at Scarborough for the Oliver's Mountain Gold Cup 2023. It's been raining quite a lot overnight, so morning warm-up could be a little bit slippery because this place is not the grippiest when it's wet. So the boys are in the awning putting the wets in the Twin and the 750, and then I've just got to find a little bit of motivation to go and ride around. Well, this is going well. I've walked back in the awning. Rob is busy doing tyre pressures on the wets. The dries are all on warmers. Adam is putting the kettle on, and I've been handed that. And that is not little packets of cocaine. That is Rob's good wife's chocolate brownies. Are they good, Rob?
They are the best brownies that you will ever eat. Guaranteed.
And you have to say that, otherwise you get murdered.
No, genuine.
Signed on, cup of tea, all good to go. It's a little bit damp though, as you can see around us on the floor, so I'm hoping it dries sharpish.
But you don't have to clean your own bikes nowadays, do you?
No, I don't, to be honest. It's not too bad. I've got to clean my levers though.
And this place has been slippery the way, so is it you have to clean your leathers inside and out?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, there's a few places around here that can catch you out very easily in the wet, so I'll be steady away this morning, get some wets in, have a roll around. Yeah, Supersport bike, let's say that I rode at the TT and Alton and things, and then the Ducati 916 we rode at the Manx. So hopefully they'll have some wets for that, so they're scrambling about a bit at the minute, so hopefully it gets ready and we're good to go this morning.
It's a Ducati, you don't want to ride it in the rain.
Well, no, I say its electronics might fail if they get wet.
Cheers, Dean.
Cheers, I'll see you in a bit.
It is the first time I've had my ZXR 750 out in a year. It did Gold Cup last year and hasn't actually been used since, so it's been in the workshop for a couple of days getting prepped, and it is good to go. And because the paddock's a bit slopey here, we have had to take to an interesting paddock stand setup, half on and half off the wood, so the bikes are almost upright, otherwise it's a little precarious. 750, I'm leaving the dries in it because I'm hoping by the time that's out the track will be dry, but the Twin is out second session, so Dunlop wets are in it. It's had a little warm-up cycle, and in about half an hour's time we'll be rolling out. Morning warm-up done on the Twin, and you can tell this is road racing. Like, you can ride in the wet on a normal short circuit because there's no traffic and no debris on the road. They're relatively clean, but this place isn't, because this is definitely road racing. Rob and Adam are already on with cleaning, especially the screen, but if you look down here, this is 3 laps of morning warm-up, and my poor little Aprilia is absolutely dirty. What wonderful product have you decided to clean the bike with?
Oh, look what I've found. Motul. The best lubricants and cleaners you can get.
Well said, Rob. You get back to work.
Oh.
Our next door neighbours for the weekend are Aaron and Sean, and they're both newcomers. Sean has done Manx Grand Prix a bit, so he is a road racer. He's just not been to Scarborough before because he's been missing out. Aaron, you've come from club racing to Scarborough, and the first thing you get is in the soaking wet.
Yeah, it's very scary, and the trees are a lot closer at 100 mile an hour than what they are at 10 mile an hour when you push a bike.
Yeah, enjoyed the session, or a bit excited?
No, I'm still scared. I'll be alright later.
You'll be alright when it dries out.
Yeah, very bumpy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right then, Sean. Veteran road racer, I suppose we could almost call you. But
yeah, definitely.
What do you reckon of that session?
Don't know where I'm going. Still learning. Definitely learning. It's damp.
Yeah.
So a bit
Yes.
apprehensive on the job. Yeah.
Yeah. But better that way round than in a tree upside down.
Well, yeah, 100%. Yeah. Just steady away to start with.
Yeah.
Get some laps under my belt and see how we're going on.
Cracking. Well, enjoy yourselves, boys.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Just in from the Twin session, the track's just got to the in-betweeny stage where it's not really wet anymore, but in places it's really greasy. Out the last corner, even on the little Twin, at like quarter throttle, basically stood upright over the newer tarmac, the thing just spins and just doesn't drive, and it's kind of fun when you get used to it. I did have the traction control turned on for that session, and what we've learnt, traction and a bit of anti-wheelie, because I just put it in challenge mode. When the anti-wheelie comes in, it holds the bike back too much. I'm going to turn that off again for the next session, go back to normal, but the track is drying fast enough that when we go out on that, dries will be fine. Are we relatively prepared, Rob?
Always.
Because it's rained quite a lot. out there, and we're out in 2 sessions on the 750. So unfortunately, we've had to commit to putting some wets in it. But never mind, you have to do these things sometimes. We managed 1 lap of Superbike quali. It is very, very wet, and you can't really see where you're going. And then they red flagged it. I'm assuming for the weather, because it is the wettest I've ever been, and I've just spent a few days riding around in Wales. So, yeah, lovely out. Right, qualifying done on the 750, and I didn't actually have a lot of traffic. I did most of the session on my own, and the bike is still absolutely hanging because the road is a little bit dirty. The second half of the session, vision was becoming an issue, and if I poke my head in there and look through the visor, it doesn't look too bad in here. But out on track, especially when the sun started hitting it in a couple of places, you sort of couldn't really see where you're going. Basically a second slower than I went on the Twin, and that was in much drier conditions. The throttle is heavy because it's flat slides and they're like that, and I'd softened the bike off a little bit in the rear down the straights was beginning to move, and that was setting the front off. So we'll do a little bit of chassis tweaking, but yeah, 8th place in that. I think that'll do. I'm going to put it out there that this is not quite as professional as BSB, because I've currently got Rob and Adam firing potato guns at me. I mean, potato guns like children have. Look,
We've plotted this for weeks.
look how happy they are. I've never seen Adam so cheerful in my life. He's just a child. So then, Paul, you said you borrowed a bike.
I did.
Off Eric. Tell us how well that's going today.
Smashingly well. This is the good side.
I suspect if we put it back in his garage and don't tell him, I reckon it'll be months before he notices.
Well, he's in the far side of the world at the minute, so
There's
that's
a fighting chance.
Yeah.
It's all right. I won't tell a soul.
Hello, Chadwick.
Well, not many people watch the channel anyway, Dave. Oh.
You've done worse, haven't you?
Oh, aye. Yeah. Like, are we chatting about motorcycles or?
Paul isn't the only one who's fallen off today, is he? It's beginning to drag a little bit.
Yes, it's currently nearly 3:30, and we've not made it past the second race.
Not actually made it past the first one yet, technically.
Yes, so first, second, and we're out third, and yeah, they've redone the first and second race twice now, each.
And I can see the ambulance driving around.
And yet there's another red flag, so it's going very well.
You know, we took the dry tyres off the warmers.
Yeah,
Oh, well.
it's still going to be too damp for that.
It is.
All I'm saying is it's cider o'clock yet.
Nearly.
Well, I'm not driving or riding, so it is.
Woohoo! Bit of an incident in qualifying.
Yes. Somebody going into the Cafe Memorial one, is it? Decided to come underneath me and shove me into the rector cell. So that's that.
So we washed the mud off it.
Washed the mud
got
off
your
it.
Got your gout out of it. And
Now
then,
there's an incident on the start grid where they've shoved me into the fence.
oh well, you're in one bit.
Yeah, my foot hurts, but I'll be fine.
Onwards and downwards.
Yes, as it is.
Keeping energy levels up during race day is important, so therefore I'm having my second piece of chocolate bread. Oh! He's bigger than me, he stole my brownie. Right, there was a few delays while they did Supersport A, Supersport B, Supersport A, B, B, A, A, while they kept red flagging them. Then all of a sudden it was bing bong, Clash Superbikes, it's your turn. And I wasn't prepared enough to actually put a camera on the bike, so that was a mistake. The circuit is drying, but the game with Scarborough is because some of it's under trees, it dries at different rates. So, for example, the first corner is wet in, wet out, mostly wet up the hill. Then you get in the S's, and the S's are basically dry off online, and the back straight's patchy, and and it goes like that the whole circuit. It's patchy. But the problem is when it's like that, the Dunlop wets, which are proper wet, the rear just got too hot really fast, and it's just spinning up down the straights and out the corners. And in effect, I actually had less grip then when it was nearly dry than I had earlier when it was soaking wet, because the tyre just goes way over temperature and it slides around. So even into the corners, the thing's just sort of backing in and fidgeting. So yeah, decent start. decent sort of first lap or two, and I thought, oh, we're in the group, and then as it got drier and drier, and everybody else just overtook me, and yeah, I just went backwards a bit. So it was all right, but it was a bit frustrating that I just couldn't feel like I could open the tap any earlier, because every time you did it, we'd just slide in sort of out the seat and stuff. So there's one race off then, the twin, so we're putting a dry rear in, which will be exciting out the first corner, but I'm leaving the wet front in so I can still brake on the damp patches. So it should drive down the straight. Normally I don't like wet front, dry rear, because middle of the corner, one of the two tyres isn't working very well. But today we're going to, because it's about stopping and starting. So that's the plan. Might even put a camera on it. I think I'm getting sensible in my old age. I was a bit too steady through the damp bits with the rear, and there's basically the exit of the first corner. The one lap I did try and get on the gas a bit earlier, the thing was just sliding around and spinning and didn't help the lap time, I can promise you that. And then out of Memorial and out of Drury's, the two like top bits, I was just being a bit too tentative, lost a bit too much time, and it didn't dry quick enough for me to get the time back, sort of thing. But saying that, the bike felt a lot better than the 750 did on wet, and so I'm going with I think I'd have done similar pace if I was on full wet. Probably took me a little bit longer to get up to speed almost, and we haven't destroyed a rear wet, which is always a bonus. So happy enough with that. Reasonable start, went back a couple of positions during the race, but yeah, it was all right. I think we'll go with it was all right. Right, the boys are busy doing cleaning and prep for tomorrow, because that is it. We had one race on each today, so those are done, but they do need a reasonably thorough cleaning and check over, basically fueling stuff up for morning warm-up, and we'll take the belly pan off the 750 and drain all the water out. But really, that's not been too bad, considering it's nearly been underwater at times. Super Sport B has gone to the grid, so I thought, to get the best view in the house, I'd come up and interrupt Tony and Bradley up here. See how Sean gets on.
And he's going to take the advantage as he's going towards me a hairpin.
Officially 14 places up from your start position. That must have been quite good fun.
Yeah, brilliant, yeah. Better than the rest of the day, not finishing and other problems.
Nice to see a checkered flag for a change.
Yeah, I thought I'm determined to see a checkered flag today. Enjoyed it.
Splendid.
Yeah.
Well done, mate.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Aaron, you've not made quite as much of an impression on, well, the scenery and the other people on the track as Sean has, but have you had a good day?
Yeah, it's been really good. I started off scared and now I love it. Nothing to be scared of now.
No, it's just enjoy yourself and relax and go faster.
Yeah, that's it. We're here for a good time, that's it.
Well done, mate.
Thank you.
So that's it for day one of Gold Cup 2023. And to say it's been up and down has been an understatement. This has been quite the day out. But it has been good fun. And we will be back tomorrow morning. And we're going to go faster, hopefully. Welcome to Sunday at Scarborough. And being it's the English seaside in September, it is of course beautifully dry and sun. Oh no, it's not. The ground is still very wet. It has rained overnight. And depending on which forecast you look at, depends on what the weather's going to do today. We have fingers crossed that we get at least one dry run around here, because it would be ace to finish the year with some actual dry tarmac. Everybody is ready. The bikes are prepped. Rob has only moderately set fire to himself this morning. So yeah, we're ready for morning warm-up. Adam, put it away. Dirty bugger. 3 laps of morning warm-up done on the 750, and because it rained a little bit overnight, but then it's been windy, the track is wet and dry in completely different places to yesterday, which was entertaining. So I've come back in, and basically the wet rear in that, the Dunlop, doesn't work if the track's drying. So we've got to go dry rear in that, otherwise it's just awful to ride, frankly. So yeah, we are gambling on dry rear, which I think will be excellent for 3/4 of the track. I was really pleased I pressed record before I went out on the bike because the first corner was exciting. Then I found out that it recorded 19 seconds of me pulling out the holding area for some reason, so unfortunately you'll have to take my word for it. The first corner was busy. I didn't get a brilliant start. I got mugged by a couple of people on the run into the first corner. I was out fairly wide because I was on that side of the grid, and when I turned in there was a bit of a nudge from behind. That put me on the lock stop because it's not got a lot of steering lock. Then I nearly fell off it, so managed to get it upright again, and it was busy. And then down the back straight, managed to get past 2 people down the back straight. One of them looked like he was missing gears or breaking down or something, so I managed to get past both of them. Wet front just gave you a bit of confidence over the patches. Dry rear, definitely the thing. Was getting there. Then the red flagged it. So we have no idea if we're rerunning or that's the result. We should wait and see. So, Super Twin race 1 for the day, and we opted quite late to go full dry, so dry front, dry rear, and that was the choice. 12th on the grid put me outside. Not a great start and running to the first corner because it was very busy, so I had to roll a bit for somebody else, and yeah, but not too bad. Boxed out the first corner a little bit, so lost a couple of positions, got one back up the hill, and then it was just a case of elbows out and try and go forwards, and I got right on the back of Jack Turner on his Tigcraft MT-07 thing, which is a cool bike. and he just got off me out the really slow corners. He just get the jump on me, and there was a couple of places I was quite a lot quicker on entries, but couldn't quite get the gap back. So it was good fun, and I thoroughly enjoyed that. That was much better on dry tyres, actually feeling like you can push on a bit. So sub 2 minute, not too bad really. I enjoyed that. Lunchtime has been and gone. We are first race out this afternoon on classic Superbike. It is still dry, which is a miracle for Scarborough in September. So dry tyres in it. Rob's just double checking tyre pressures. I actually put dry leathers on, which is the first time for the weekend. Time to go racing. Let's see if I can actually sort my starts out. That was a better race, better start, better first corner. I was lazy out the top, out the Memorial, lap 1. Basically, it's sort of in between gears. If I go first, it slows me down loads at the apex, but then you can fire out. If I go second, I can run a bit more apex speed, but it's just on that real flat spot when you bring the flat slides on that it's like, and you lose a bit of drive. So I was lazy the first lap and somebody got past me. I'm terrible with names. And then luckily Mr. Gear come in out towards Jeffrey Jump, so I managed to go around the outside of him, and then I could see the group with Mick Goodings over there, whose ZXR is very nice, him and AD Harrison, and I'm normally similar pace to AD, but being as AD was second row and I was fourth row, in fact I wasn't too far off and was good, and Jamie Kellum, I think, on a Kramer, because they mixed Super Monos in with us, he was my carrot to chase, and I chipped away a little bit, couldn't quite catch him, but I actually really enjoyed that. Hard work on the 750 because it's, you know, it's not the smallest thing to run around here, but yeah, I enjoyed that. That felt like a proper motorbike race. And now Rob's entertaining himself by throwing bits of potato at me because he's a child. Well, I'm walking around because we've got a little bit of a delay, or well, not a delay, a gap between Superbikes, which was first race of the afternoon, and me last twin race, which is the last race of the day. So we've packed most of our stuff away. And the next race on track is the featured Gold Cup race, which in effect is a Supersport 600 race extra. And so I'm going to go and spectate. But me being me, I'm going to go and spectate in the commentary box. And then I can annoy people out on the internet by talking too much. It's the first time I've ever been up to the commentary box and there's nobody in here. And I know why. The next race is the Future Gold Cup race, and there will be grid girls. So that, I suspect, is half the reason. And they're also doing a sidecar presentation, but I suspect that's the lesser half of the reason.
Competitive manner. At the end of lap number 1, it's Mike Brown.
So your podium for the 2023 Gold Cup race, Dean Harrison in first, Adam McLean in second, and Gary McCoy on the podium at Scarborough. Cracking job. Do you want to touch my fluffy thing?
Yes, please.
Woo! I think you'd enjoyed it.
Very cute.
Right, well now the Gold Cup is finished, I probably ought to have a wander back down and actually think about getting ready for the final twin race. Right, I've put my airbag back on, Rob has warmed the bike up. I think it's time to go racing. that was the best race of the weekend. Not a bad start actually, not a bad launch, but then Marley and somebody else in front of me basically nearly came together and they rolled a little bit. I had nowhere to go, so I had to roll a little bit, and then a couple of people come past and I was like, no, another bad start. And then down into the first corner, Russell Brook come underneath me, somebody else went around the outside. I just happened to be, yet again, chosen the wrong line and just got boxed me, and I was like, oh, come on. Got Russell Brook up the run up the hill, and then it got going. First lap down Jeffrey's jumps, something let go in front of me, a couple of bikes in front, there was a load of oil smoke, and I was like, oh no, there's going to be oil everywhere. So I actually rolled off and stuck my hand up, thinking there'll be oil everywhere, and there wasn't, and everybody carried on. I went, and I just lost the toe a little bit on the group in front, which is a little bit annoying, apart from Jack Turner. And I knew where I was fastening from this morning. I knew I was faster into Farm Bends, and I followed him like first lap and caught him a bit in there, went, that's the place. So lap 2, and he was nearly turning out to let the brake off and just run underneath him, so I had to put a hand up to apologise. But it's racing. And got my head down and chased Marley's tail light, and I just chipped away at him tenths and never quite caught him up. But 57s is as quick as I've ever done around here on a twin. So I'm happy with that. The pace was good. Considering we've not had a lot of dry running, that was spot on. Bike was mint, took some preload out the rear before the race to get it settled on the brakes, and it was better. Yeah, I love that little Aprilia.
Could the following riders please attend?
And that is a wrap for Gold Cup 2023. Massive thank you to Adam and Rob for coming along, putting up with me for a weekend, and generally being good banter. I'm not sure the potato guns were my favourite thing, but they did make me laugh, so yeah, we'll give them that. So thank you for watching, and join us again next time for some more motorbike fun.